Greetings. I would like to welcome you to the Okaloosa County School District's Volunteer Orientation. Our school district offers a variety of opportunities for you to share your experiences and expertise with our students. We would like to thank you in advance for helping to showcase our students and share your talents to help our students, our teachers, and our staff. For the safety of our students, all volunteers must complete an online volunteer application. So, who is a school volunteer? A school volunteer is someone who's willing to share their experiences with our students to enrich our students' lives, and someone who is willing to work without getting paid because you like to do it. There are 5 categories for our volunteer capacity: a chaperone, school or classroom volunteer, a mentor, a volunteer coach, or an overnight chaperone. The volunteer coach, the overnight chaperone, and the mentor does require fingerprinting. And please note, in these 3 categories of volunteer coach, overnight chaperone, and mentoring, you must receive prior approval from the Office of Community Affairs before you may apply as a volunteer in one of these capacities. The state of Florida has specific guidelines regarding our school volunteers. Our school volunteers must be of good physical and mental health. School volunteers can be of any age. Therefore, our retirees, our community leaders, our civic leaders, our parents may also be willing to volunteer in any capacity at our schools. Be under the supervision of a staff member. The staff member will be responsible for making sure that the school volunteer is aware of school and district-based policies for the volunteer experience, and receive orientation to the school for your assigned duties in your volunteer capacity. The Florida statute also further states that if you're not eligible to be cleared as a volunteer, you are entitled to an appeals process. Please contact the Office of Community Affairs for guidelines regarding the appeals process. Florida policies further states that as a volunteer, you will not be establishing any instructional objectives. You will not be administering corporal punishment or determining any type of punishment. You will not be assuming responsibility for an entire class, or that you will not contact parents regarding the performance of a student's behavior or their academic progress. The responsibilities of a school volunteer. The school volunteer expresses concern for interest in and acceptance for the students for which he or she works with. You will be responsible for maintaining a professional attitude of mutual respect and confidence, and be willing to be supportive and provide supplemental service under the supervision of a staff member. Be punctual, reliable, and notify the school in case of any absences. As a school volunteer, you'll be responsible for becoming familiar with school and classroom policies, and we ask that you do refrain from criticizing school procedures. Be capable of adjusting to the teachers or staff members' way of doing things, and if necessary, be willing at times to have a short conference regarding your volunteer responsibilities with the staff member or school-based coordinator. And lastly, be a role model of good character and display appropriate behavior. We have certain guidelines and policies for what to do as a volunteer if a student becomes injured or if a student becomes ill. No matter how minor the injury is, please notify a staff member immediately, and they will take appropriate actions for that injury. And if a student becomes ill, please notify the staff member. Under no circumstances do we administer any type of medication for any of our students who become ill. Sometimes You may be asked to try and take a class alone, but you are not a paid school board employee, so you will not be permitted to take the class alone. If the teacher or staff member needs to step out, a school paid board employee will be with you during your tenure of volunteer service. And sometimes someone may ask to see a student or speak to a student. You must direct that individual to the staff member or the school-based volunteer. Under no circumstances should you allow anyone to see our students or speak to our students. If you have any situations, please be sure to notify the school volunteer coordinator at your school. And as it becomes known that you're working at a school or that you're volunteering at a school, someone may ask you, how is the student doing? A reply may be, I love working at that school and with the students. I'm sure if you contact that school, they will be happy to arrange a meeting with you. The Okaloosa County School District is a drug-free workplace. Therefore, our volunteers shall not be under the consumption of drugs, alcohols, or tobacco during your volunteer experience. This does include any electronic form of tobacco. Please do not come to school if you're ill. This means even if you have a slight cold, a cough, or a sore throat. As much as we would love to have you, please make sure that you are fully healthy before you return to your volunteer capacity. Our students learn by example, and we ask that you, along with us, act as a role model by using good health habits when you are visiting our schools. The general public has been made aware of blood transmitted diseases. At any time, if you see blood on a student, please notify a staff member immediately, and please make sure that you follow all safety rules for the school in which you are volunteering. If an accident occurs, please notify the staff member immediately. We ask that you do not move any students during an accident. Staff members will take the appropriate procedures as it relates to that incident. And be aware of playground regulations. If you're supervising the PE field, we ask that you supervise climate activities. We ask that you monitor our students for use of certain objects such as scissors, sand, because sand can get in our eyes, even pointed objects such as a school compass. And do not allow our students to use hot items, hot appliances, utensils, or equipment. So, situations for your awareness. Visiting with other volunteers. This can be very distracting in the classroom. We ask that you do not laugh at our students when they're making an effort to complete their task. This could really cause our students to be reluctant to try again, and sometimes it gives our students a sense of failure. We ask that you do not talk about our students within his or her hearing distance, or basically do not talk about our students at all, because if they perceive you as being critical, our students' self-image can be damaged. We ask that you do not talk to the teacher or staff during your times of volunteer service. If you have questions, please work with the staff member or the school volunteer on a designated time where they may address any questions or concerns you may have. And we ask that you don't damage our students' self-esteem by criticizing them, using harsh words such as, you lied, you cheated. And do not judge our students. Each one of our students is different, and they need every chance to be successful. We ask that you don't scold a student for an incorrect answer. Instead, we ask that you rely on the response such as, let us think about this, let us look at it a different way, then we can come back and work with the student to solve the problem. And we ask that you don't pass on confidential information. When you are at a school, you're participating in the school, you may sometimes hear or come across information about a particular student. Please be aware that this information is privileged and that it should be kept confidential. In your volunteer capacity, we ask that you do not bring younger children when you're volunteering on our campus, school activities, field trips, or any other form of your volunteer capacity. And we ask that you do not share political or religious beliefs with our students. Characteristics of a good volunteer. As a volunteer, you are an important part of our educational team. The greatest things that we can ask for our school volunteers is for them to be dedicated and committed in their role as a volunteer. We ask that you be well groomed and dress appropriately for the assignment that you will be volunteering in. When you arrive at the school, please sign in at the school Raptor system and print out your name badge. This name badge must be visible on you during all times in your volunteer capacity. And at the end of the day or the end of your time, please be sure you also sign out at the Raptor system. Be adaptable, be dependable, be on time, and life happens. If you're going to be absent, please notify the staff member or the school volunteer coordinator. And again, please keep information confidential. When you're volunteering to assist our students, listening is one of the most important things you can do for our students. It's one of the most basic skills that our students can use and need. And work with them at eye level. This shows our students that you're giving them your undivided attention while you are working with them. When you're speaking with our students, use a tone that would encourage our students, make them feel confident, and it shows an interest in what you're saying to our students and what our students are saying to you. Do please avoid comparing students and give students a choice when you intend to abide by that choice, and make sure that we're communicating with comments in a positive form, such as use the blocks for building rather than don't throw the blocks. There are many certain skills that our volunteers really help our students develop. They develop a desire to pay attention, a desire to learn, to ask questions when they do not understand, to verbally communicate and express themselves, to plan a task and to follow through with that task, how to problem solve, how to develop a good self-image, how to get along with peers of their own age, and how to wait for something if they want it or if they need it. Students learn by doing, not by passive observation. They ask questions, and we ask sometimes that you can help them search for answers to those questions. Our students learn by discovery, and they learn by using their senses when possible. Experimenting, sorting and combining objects, repeating experiences, all of these activities you assist students would help them to gain self-confidence and increase their self-image among themselves and with their peers. Sometimes you may be asked to help tutor a student. This could be a student who may need some individual one-on-one or maybe even small group attention, or it could be a student who has been absent and who would greatly benefit from your special help during your volunteer capacity. So our goal is for the success of students for the capacity in which you are volunteering. Our goal is also for you as a volunteer to have a successful experience while you are sharing your expertise with our students. Where are volunteers needed? All around Okaloosa County. In the classroom, clerical opportunities such as filing, printing, with our extracurricular activities, whether it be our sports, our music, our academics, in our media center, checking in books, checking out books, shelving books, being a reading buddy with a student, guidance department, tutoring, parent-teacher organization, and school advisory council. Again, you can see there are many capacities for you to share your experiences with our students, our teachers, and our staff. So the next step is for you as a volunteer to go to www.okaloosaschools.com to complete an online application. you will click on Departments at the top of the page of our school district website. Once you get to the Departments page, you will click on the link that says Community Affairs. Once on the Community Affairs page, you will see a link that says Volunteers. Click on this link and it will take you to the page that looks like this that says Get Involved. And remember, as a school volunteer, if you are a visitor, you do not have to register as a school volunteer. Examples of being a school visitor include if you're coming for a parent conference, if you're eating lunch with your students, or you're coming to watch your student participate in extracurricular activities. And again, once here, you would click the link that says Online Volunteer Application. This is step 1. Per the directions, it's very important that you complete the application in its entirety. The name on your application must match the name that's on your government ID. Please again, be sure to complete and answer all questions. This next page also asks for you to provide personal information. We ask that you answer each and every question in its entirety and to answer truthfully with your answer. Step 3 involves you selecting all the schools in which you wish to volunteer. If you have students who are at elementary, middle, and high schools or any other school in the district, you may select all schools on this one page so that you will not have to complete a separate volunteer application for each of the schools. Step 4 is to select the function from the list in which you're volunteering. If you're volunteering of your own capacity or the organization for which you're volunteering is not listed here, we ask that you select none. One of the last steps is to sign the disclaimer and submit your application. And providing your signature on this disclaimer, you are saying that you understand and are willing to participate as a volunteer for the Okaloosa County School District, and you understand that as a part of the Okaloosa County School District, you are offering students the opportunity to participate in an appropriate program with services, and that you will not use any slurs or innuendos about any characteristics limited in our school district equity policy. And you understand that Okaloosa County School District is a drug-free workplace. Once you sign your disclaimer and read each of the bullets for the equity policy, you're closing up to complete your application. Please pay close attention to this disclaimer that you're signing. At the end of the day, it is all about the safety of our students. At this point, step 7, you have completed your application. Once the online application is complete, an email confirmation and instructions on what to do next will be sent to the applicant. Again, please follow all directions carefully. An FDLE, sexual predator offender background check, will be performed on all volunteers before you begin your service. Again, please note that volunteer coaches, overnight chaperones, and mentors will be fingerprinted according to our school board policy. Once you have been approved to volunteer, now we're ready for you to go to our schools and serve in your volunteer capacity. You will enter the school and sign in at the school check-in system Raptors. If you're volunteering before school or after school, the Raptor check-in system may not be available. The school coordinator or the school staff member will have the volunteer instructional services form for you to maintain your hours. A good form of habit will be to turn this form in bi-weekly so that you can keep up with the volunteer hours and dates that you are serving in your capacity. If you have any further questions or concerns regarding your role as a volunteer, we ask that you reach out to your school's volunteer coordinator or the Okaloosa County School District Office of Community Affairs at 850-833-5856. Your time and attendance is greatly appreciated. You are a valuable member of the Okaloosa County School District. Thank you for contributing and enriching our school community. Thank you.